about that time. The Indie Artist Music Showcase with your host, DJ Prenup, begins right now, only on GTV Radio.
GTV Radio, DJ Prenup here, bringing you the Indie Artist Music Showcase, where we showcase the hottest upcoming artists in the game. And right now, I have a treat for y'all. I have something that's been long waiting in the projects. It's nothing but works. We actually have somewhat of a personal history. Her mom and I used to work together, so which is crazy. GTV Radio, we want to bring the audience Miss Jazzy Cadiente. I hope I said that correctly. I hope you all are having a good day. Thank you so much for coming into the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Tell the people what's up.
Well, hi. My name is Jazzy Cadiente. I am an 18-year-old R&B singer-songwriter that's based here in Las Vegas, Nevada.
There we go. One of Vegas natives out here, Las Vegas local. Nothing but talent. We are happy that you decided to come and talk with us. Share your music, sharing your products you have coming up. But how long have you been doing music? You already kind of gave the people a little bit about you, but how long have you been doing music?
There's kind of like two sides to that story.
Okay.
Like the personal side would just probably be like my parents have said I've been singing since I was like 5, but I didn't start.
Yeah.
I didn't start taking singing lessons until I was 7. So that's pretty much like professionally when I started singing.
Okay.
Because around the same time that I started doing vocal lessons was when I started doing performances around Vegas.
Okay.
And so I mean, obviously you do the math. I'm 18 now, and so that's like 12 years.
Which is not crazy, but people normally hear like, oh, I'm 23, 24, 25, though they already assume like at least there's been 6-7 years in the game. Mm-hmm. Someone says 18, they're like, oh man, this person just started, because not maybe like unless you're Bieber, a lot of that isn't showcase of your childhood and how you've kind of been into music and your influences and things such as that.
Right.
Speaking of influences, what was like who or what was the reason why you got into singing? You don't just fall into singing.
I mean, I guess it just kind of like, I won't say run in the family, but because like I would say because my parents used to be dancers. But
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Of the 2 years of us working together, I did not know that mama was a dancer.
Yeah. I like.
She got the moves.
My parents used to be dancers, and then obviously I grew up on old school too. So and then my mom and my dad used to just play like old school whenever. And then when they heard that I could just like sing, they're just like,
"What?
Huh? What?" And
this is wild.
And then so this is kind of like a weird childish like thing, but it's because I was a child. The thing that really got me started in singing was like High School Musical.
Okay.
Like the movie High School Musical was the reason. Like I'm pretty sure like my mom can attest to this. Like I would not stop watching the movie. I would not stop playing the CD, and they were like, "You need to turn that off like right now."
It's like in the game. Get your head in the game.
Yeah, right. Yes. And you know, that was one of the influences, but then it was really the support of my parents.
That's always good. Yeah.
Yeah, the support of my parents. They were like, "Oh, you want to do music? You want to do singing? All right, you can keep doing that." They put me in lessons. And
were you ever in like a choir or a band or anything, or were you kind of always solo?
Growing up,
solo for the most part. I know you have some like collabs here and there, but
I would say probably like maybe towards my high school like career. It was that's when it turned into solo, but I was always like in choir. I was in choir elementary school and middle school. And then when it came down to high school, I was in choir my freshman year, and then I transferred my major to musical theater.
Okay.
But then in that time of doing musical theater, when I had became like a junior, I was just like, this is like musical theater's fun, but it's like I'm not like it's not necessarily like what I wanted to do, because the choir major that was there, the vocal major was very like classical.
Okay.
And that's not what I wanted to do, so I was like, musical theater is the closest I'm gonna get to this.
And that's okay. Yeah. I took a little music theater in high school as well.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really go anywhere with it, but I'm glad that someone did. So shout out to the arts program in the schools. Make sure you keep those funded. Mm-hmm. Before we hit our break session, I actually have another question for you. Mm-hmm. A lot of singers, at least their background, they have various instruments. Do you play other instruments? I'm very curious.
Sort of.
Okay.
During quarantine, I decided to pick up a guitar.
Oh, recent. Okay.
Yeah, it's very, very recent. I never was really savvy in like playing instruments. I had an ukulele.
Okay.
And I have a piano too. I still have those, but I basically played those by ear.
Okay.
And I didn't really know what the chord structure was. I didn't know how to construct like chords like that. And my fingers, especially for guitar, were not made to like bar chords and like do
It's
all that
weird
kind of
having those
stuff.
like 4 strings when you're used to 8 chord progressions. You're used
Yeah,
to,
exactly.
especially playing by ear. And I've never play guitar. I won't never pick it up. It's just so what's the word? Not frustrating, but you look at it, you're just like, maybe I
Yeah.
shouldn't ever.
When I first started it, like, because one of my really good friends, he was a guitar major at the high school that I went to, so he was one of the influences as to when I started guitar. And when I started, like, he was like, your fingers are gonna blister up, and I was like, it can't be that bad. The first week that I was like doing this, I was just like, there was white like all on the
it's
like
super callous, and it was
it was
gosh.
painful, but I was like, I have to get used to this if I want to keep playing. So I had to teach myself, and obviously like I had like my friend to help me too. So it was great.
That was good. Well, you heard it here, everyone. You got singer, solo artist, and newfound guitarist Jazzy Cadiente from Las Vegas. We'll be right back. Tune into the mix. Let's go. And we are back. GTV Radio, DJ Prenup here, bringing you the Indie Artist Music Showcase, where we showcase the hottest upcoming artists in the game. And once again, we have the lovely Miss Jazzy Cadiente from Las Vegas.
Hi, what's
Yes,
good?
yes. So kind of picking up the conversation, what would you classify yourself as an artist? Like R&B singer? Would you say you're more of a pop? Would you say you're, I mean, definitely a singer. I don't know, unless you got a little rap here and there.
Yeah,
Some bars.
just a little 1-2. I definitely would classify myself as an R&B singer songwriter. I did used to classify myself as R&B hip hop, but recently like it's just been straight R&B. So there's nothing wrong with that.
And that is okay. And so during the break, we did listen to some of your music as well. 2 of the songs that really stood out to me, which we'll kind of go into a little more depth are I Don't, as well as Love Line. To me, great songs both. But
you.
I feel like they definitely showcase different sides of you.
They're very different.
What really inspired the track I Don't?
Whew, okay, so that one is the first ever solo single that I ever put out as like a solo artist.
Okay.
And it was a lead single off of my album 82 Days. So that is very, very personal. It was basically a song about me and a friend where we both had like, there were like mutual feelings for each other, but both of us were like too afraid to do anything about it. We were just like, it's whatever. But
Was
at
it
the
one of
end
those
the,
maybe you don't want to like ruin the friendship?
I think it might have been that, but
Okay.
like I already knew that he had feelings for me, but I was just like, if you're not gonna say anything, I'm gonna just like.
Why is it that women always know? They ask you,
I don't.
and they know the answer.
And they know, but
you never own up to it.
But the thing is, like when I wrote, like the whole point of it was just like, if you're not gonna say anything, if you're not gonna like shoot your shot, I'm gonna be okay. Like I'm gonna be fine.
Okay. And here you are writing a song about it.
And I was like, you
There
know
you
what?
are.
Like this, I was like, this could be a song. I was like, this could be a song. And then one of my friends that actually produced the whole album, shout out to Santino Cardinelli, aka Stone Cold.
There we go.
Shout outs, we need that. Shout out local artists because we need that.
Always shout out the local artists.
So I was like, hey, I want to like make a like at the beginning of this whole like album, like constructing this whole album. I reached out to him first and I was like, hey, like I want to make like an EP or like an album or something. And then he sent me a track, and that like the track for I Don't was that one. I was like, this is a vibe.
Okay.
And then I think I wrote that song in like an hour and a half.
Wow,
I was
that's
like,
fast actually. Okay.
that's kind of like one of the I wouldn't say one of the fastest times, but it's like it's definitely, it came out like naturally.
It's very natural. I feel like if you heard it, you definitely wouldn't even tell that it was such a quick production as far as getting the lingo out, the language, and your direction of really what you wanted to do with it, because it's so well put together. So good job on that, especially being one of your first like tracks that you really put out there.
I know. I was just like, I'm just gonna put this out because like I need to have a jump start to like my solo career, and I put it out, and the response was like so good.
It was there.
Yeah,
it was
and
good.
I was just like, a lot of my friends loved it, and a lot of like just It was, the response to it was just great.
Okay.
And I was just like, okay.
This is what I needed.
I know. I was like, this is motivation for me to keep doing what I need to do for the album.
Okay.
And so like, I'm glad that I actually, like, that was the first song that actually was like written like for the album, and it wasn't even in my head yet that it was for the album, you know.
And then on the flip side, here you have Love Line, which musically to me it's definitely more something like a radio vibe. I even feel like, springtime rolling down the window, it was broad daylight, and you just go into like a place to just chill and meet up. What really inspired that one different from I Don't?
So that one is actually from my first like ever release.
Okay.
Because I did it with one of my best friends who's posted up in New York right now. He goes to college in New York. His name is Joey Maselli.
Okay.
We did this EP called Illusions together. This was the lead single off of that. And the story behind that was, or in order to understand like the context of like every song off that, especially for Love Line. Kind of have to understand like the whole like EP, and so basically the whole EP is, we like to say it is like the story of like all of these songs are about our friends and like the relationships that we've seen of our friends deteriorating over the past year.
That's very personal. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this was a song about my cousin and her boyfriend at the time, his ex-boyfriend now, and she was just like, I need like excuse my language. She was like, I need to be a bad bitch. Like I need to like, and one of the lyrics.
Okay. Everyone needs to be a bad bitch every now and then.
One of the lyrics that, because we personally called her and we were just like, explain to us like what's going through your head. And then one of the things she said was just like, I am not no damn princess. I'm a fucking queen. Like you need to like treat me as that, you know? And then we were just like, that's a good line. So we put that in there, and then that kind of like constructed like the whole thing
around that.
Yeah, and then because there is a guy voice in there, it's kind of like a conversation back and forth.
I thought it was almost like a duet, necessarily, not necessarily like I didn't catch the whole conversation back and forth, but there were some times where I felt like you all were like layered over one another. I was like, this is hard.
Oh yeah, no, because that's how it actually is.
It's hard,
and that's how it is throughout the whole EP. It's just like there are different ways that we're all like, because there's 5 tracks. Throughout those 5 tracks, there are different ways that the songs are structured to make it feel like it's either a conversation or it's like we're talking about the same thing, or it's like we're talking about like it's really in order to just like you kind of have to
have to listen to it. And you said it was called the EP one more time.
The EP is called Illusions, and
I gotta check that one out.
It's by Joey Maselli and your girl Jazzy Cadiente. You know.
So it what I'm getting from is a lot of your music is very personal to you. It's very whether it's family, whether it's personal experience. Is that typically how you make your music? Is that like your process? You kind of hear a beat and it's like, oh man, this reminds you of this one time, and then you kind of just go there? Or what's your typical process, especially for other independent artists out there as well, who sometimes struggle even trying to figure out how to lead through a track, and they have this great track in front of them. It's like, man, I really don't know what to even do. Like kind of go through your process.
My process is actually, you kind of said most of it. My process is usually like, I like to write with tracks, basically because like I can, like if I hear a track, it does remind me of like a certain time or place that is personal to me. And I just like hum along like a melody line or something like that. I put it in my voice memos, and then I structure it just like, this could be the first verse, or this could be the pre-chorus, or this is the chorus or the bridge. And I kind of make sure that like it's either like I kind of like freestyle some lines first. Always. And then it's just like, okay, like I can see where that fits, and then I can write it down, and then structure around that, or I'll already have an idea that I want to write about, and then I'll just be like, okay, like this is this. Usually it really just depends on how deep
you're very strategic with it, which is not common in a lot of
that's what I get from a
lot
artists,
of people. Which is that's really good. That means you have a really good mindset for this, I feel like.
Thank you.
Kind of segueing into that, what are your views on current music? Whether it's radio, whether it's politics, whether it's club, whether it's the local scene.
For the local scene, I definitely feel like I mean, talking about like Vegas local scenes, it's I always advocate for it just because like some of the people in the Vegas scene for music is like some of my homies.
Yeah.
Like they're out here doing Tuesday Blend. They're out here like doing a bunch of performances around Vegas, just like I am. And you know, it's just like seeing them do the same grind, the same thing is like very inspirational to me.
I definitely want to hit some more on that because I feel like it's important in the local scene to showcase as well as to go out and support.
Yeah.
Even if it's for an hour, or even half hour, or even like, hey, can you like post this up if you want to come through? Come through.
Yeah.
Personal invites always are a big thing for me. It's like even if it's like a one of those like group messages. There's like you just copy and paste. You thought of me. Perfect. Cool. And I feel like that's where Vegas is kind of slacking.
I'm in a little bit. I know that like kind of in my age range, like everybody kind of knows somebody. I mean, that's how it is in like the community in Vegas, but like everybody knows somebody. And so whenever somebody comes out with new music or they post a new like snippet or they have a performance going on, I'm always the one that's just kind of being like, yo, my friends are doing something. Let me share this so that way other people know about it.
Make sure they get those 3 comments on the Instagram for that algorithm.
For the algorithm? Oh, my God. It really be like that sometimes.
It really be like that sometimes. Well, that's right. You heard it here. GTV Radio. We have my girl, once again, Jazzy Cadiente, Las Vegas native, Tuesday blendist, community music advocate.
I do want to be performing at Tuesday Blend, but they just upped it to like 21 and up.
Yeah.
And I was just like, because it used to be 18.
Listen, if Martin Garrix can spin in Hakkasan when he's 19, we going to get you in a Tuesday Blend, all right?
Tuesday Blend, please get me
Mark
in.
my word. We're going to get you in a Tuesday Blend when Vegas opens back up. We'll be right back, all right? And we are back, GTV Radio. DJ Prenup here, bringing you the Indie Artist Music Showcase, where we showcase the hottest upcoming artists in the game. Miss Jazzy Cadiente giving us a scoop as an artist. Before we close out, let the people know what other upcoming projects do you have?
That is a good question because right now